Alright, gather round you cheeky lot. It's that time of year when I got a yap on about the top PC games of 2023, like I've cracked the code to the Rosetta Stone. But let's not kid ourselves, these lists we content creators spin out are about as useful as a chocolate ashtray. It's you lot, my pedigree chums, who'll be the judge of what's what. Now what you've got right in front of your mince pies is the cream of the crop, the top 10 PC games of 2023 that I've personally put through the ringer. If you're hunting for Tears of the Kingdom or Spider-Man, tipple on over to IGN for your casual fix. So, stick the kettle on, grab a cuppa, and let's dissect the dog's dinner that was 2023. Number 10 on our list is Aliens Dark Descent. Now, we showered it with praise for its top-notch lore, visuals that hit you like a right hook, and sound so good it's practically musical robbery, all for the bargain basement price of 40 of Uncle Sam's dollars. Now, this horror RTS is a proper jolly good time in most respects, but I can't help but think a turn-based approach might have suited it better. See, in the thick of shootouts, the tactical edge can vanish quicker than a pint on a Friday night. No matter what beastly alien is trying to give you a dry hump, sheer firepower tends to win no matter what you do. Real-time combat then loses some of its edge. Still, it's got a bit of oomph, and if you're hankering for a proper RTS, it's practically criminal not to have this one in your collection. At number 9, we're strolling into the world of Alan Wake 2, or as I like to call it, the walking simulator that's caused more mass debates than a pub quiz. Now, even in our own review, we raised an eyebrow as to why it was getting perfect 10 scores from the bigwigs in the trade press. Make no mistake, Alan Wake 2 is a polished horror shooter, boasting visuals that'll make your nan's glasses fog up. Only Avatar's Pandora tops it in 2023. The story's decent and the horror bits hit the spot, building tension like a game of hide and seek in Bill Cosby's basement. However, the combat is slower than a snail on a Sunday stroll. The world feels flatter than a pancake, and it's missing that killer punch to justify those perfect scores. Now, I ain't one to shy away from the truth. Where the bloody hell is Resident Evil 4 on this list, you ask? Well, we never actually got round to reviewing it because the big boys beat us to the punch. However, between me and you, for my hard-earned money, you could easily swap out Alan Wake 2 and slide in the Resident Evil 4 remake instead. It's like trading in a half-decent pint for a proper whiskey. Blow me down with a feather. Number 8 on the list is none other than Hogwarts Legacy. Now, I don't know about you lot, but game movie tie-ins usually stink worse than a week-old far, but this one is a right surprise it is. Hogwarts Legacy manages to capture the tone and character of them wizarding books, letting you run amok like your very own wizarding twat. The world they've cooked up here is nothing short of magical, with famous spots recreated that are so detailed it's like you're peeking through Dumbledore's anus just to see what he had for breakfast. Now let's not kid ourselves, combat is a bit Ron Jeremy stiff at times, lacking the bounce of a Quidditch match, and it's missing a bit of that replay magic. And yes, the performance issues, the talk of the town in 2023, are on full display here. But in the grand scheme of things, Hogwarts Legacy did the impossible. It gave us a cracking Harry Potter world to roam about in, frolicking like Ron Weasley himself was playing soggy biscuit. This one then came as a nice surprise. In at number 7, we're diving into the indie scene with BattleBit Remastered, our first taste of the underdog, and believe me, it won't be the last. Now, this little gem's been giving big shots like EA Battlefield and Activision's Call of Duty running for the hills. And why is that, you ask? Well, it's because BattleBit Remastered is pure, unadulterated fun. It's like they brewed up a concoction of quips, trash talk, and post-death proximity chat that's got the community roaring with laughter and light-hearted banter. But it ain't just talk, my friend. The battles in this one are proper brilliant, with a scale so grand it makes you wonder if the king himself is overseeing it. Yes, the graphics might be basic, but don't let that fool you. BattleBit Remastered has got charm to it, like a proper cheeky grin from a dodgy bloke down the juicer. It's genuinely one of the most fun moments in gaming for 2023. So if you're not on the BattleBit bandwagon yet, well, it's time to hop on and join the banter bus. Number 6, and we've got Ready or Not, a review that kicked up more dust than a London chimney sweep. Fans were waving their pitchforks, claiming Reggie was off his rocker for slapping a 9 out of 10 on it. Terrible AI, terrible performance, terrible mission design, they screamed. But hold on to your flat caps, my pedigree chums, because whilst Ready or Not's got a few wrinkles, it's far from terrible, and patches, they can do wonders. Picture this, an enthralling tactical shooter with top-notch friendly AI, a dark and moody graphical style, and an atmosphere that's been crafted with more care than a bespoke suit. Ready or Not handles its subject matter with maturity. These stories it spins through environmental details, they hit you right in the feels, and it does so with a purpose. I've had my fair share of tense games in 2023, but Ready or Not takes the cake. Hostage situations play out in real time, leaving you on the edge, never quite sure if disaster's knocking on your door. It rightfully nabs the number 6 spot on our list, a game that's got more suspense than a Hitchcock thriller. But we're now in the top 5 and coming in hot, Diablo 4, a game that's been a proper roller coaster this year. It kicked off like a firework display, but then we stumbled into the end game and oh dear, it was all a bit shit. Changes were made, of course, making it super grindy that nearly killed off the game entirely, but then the devs hit the emergency brakes, did a full U-turn and made it all about the loot and gave us some much needed power back to the character builds. Now what you've got is a cracking continuation of the Diablo legacy. The art styles macabre, reeking of horror and gore, and the RPG features let you turn your character into a killing machine. The live service nature's got its fair share of naysayers, but if you're new to the franchise and wondering what all the fuss is about, it's an absolute blast. Even the grizzly veterans can't deny it's a fantastic playthrough the first time around. So whether you're a Diablo devotee or a fresh-faced newcomer, Diablo 4 is a ride worth taking. Number 4, and just missing out on the podium, is an indie gem that's been overlooked more than a detective's notepad. Shadows of Doubt is like stepping into the shoes of Detective Columbo, navigating a procedurally generated world where everyone is a suspect. Murders pop up like a day out in Baltimore, and your job is to figure out which little twerp did the naughty. But hold on, because it's tougher than a Sunday roast without gravy. You'll be cross-referencing names, ID cards, and phone records like you're Sherlock Holmes on a bender, trying to pin down the time, place, and of course the murder weapon. Chuck in some stealthy bits like finding a sneaky way into the murder scene with a very real chance of getting caught red-handed, and you've got yourself a crime thriller that's a proper beast. Now graphically it's got a touch of Minecraft and a dash of Teardown mixed in, giving the world a fresh and coherent feel. It's a rare sight when a game like Shadows of Doubt comes along and achieves so much in such a short time. It's a testament then to the magic that indie titles bring to the table, something those big AAA studios can only dream of reaching. And if Shadows of Doubt ain't the highest ranking indie title this year, well, keep your peepers peeled because there is more to come, my friends. Here we are in the top 3, and making a grand entrance is the ultimate redemption story, Phantom Liberty. Here we had a game in Cyberspunk that rolled in like a bruised and battered fighter, but pulled off a surprise knockout punch in the 12th round. Now the journey Cyberspunk's taken over the past 3 years has been nothing short of incredible, and Phantom Liberty is the icing on the cake. It's transformed this once mediocre, over-promised generic shooter into a stylish, bombastic and stunning dystopia that we all yearned for. Now let's raise a glass to the lads and lasses at CD Projekt here. Many developers would have thrown in the towel and left the game in a right old state. Looking at you, EA, with practically every release that you shoved out your arsehole this year, but not this crew. They wanted the last say, and by George, they got it. The impact of Phantom Liberty is such that it's arguably crafted a richer, more fulfilling world as DLC than the original base game. Now that's commitment to making wrongs right, deserving a nod of high praise. We're quick here to sling mud when folks mess up, but we've got to raise a glass when they get it right. So Phantom Liberty, take a bow. You've earned your spot punching it out in the top 3. As one sexually frustrated crab once said, everything is better down where it's wetter, and by gosh, he ain't wrong. There wasn't a doubt in my mind that an indie title would be swinging in the top 2 spots this year if it wasn't for an absolute freak of a release that's etched itself into gaming history. Dave the Diver would have snagged our coveted Game of the Year title. Now we've seen indie powerhouses like BattleBit Remastered and Shadows of Doubt leading the charge here, and indie titles, my friend, they have been the saviours of PC gaming this year. Dave the Diver, though, is the cream of the crop. First off, it's the sheer originality of this beauty. On paper, it sounds daft. You play Dave a diver who catches fish during the day and runs a sushi joint by night. Sounds bonkers, right? But somehow, it's beautifully crafted. The world is rich, diverse, and running that restaurant alone is an absolute joy. A game in itself. You're farming fish, upgrading recipes, exploring the ocean for all its hidden treasures, and then you've got a downright enjoyable story, a world bursting with secrets, and arcade-style end bosses that will make your thumbs twitch. The whole package, it sounds and looks glorious. Now on paper, Dave the Diver should have flopped on its backside, but instead, it's an absolute stunner of a game, and the fact that they're only charging you a measly $15 when it's worth triple that is daylight robbery. Dave, you're a legend, mate. If Game of the Year wasn't snatched away by a freak release, you'd be wearing this year's crown. Here we are then, the grand finale, the numero uno, the Megan Fox of 2023. And yes, it's none other than Baldur's Gate 3. Now before you start rolling your eyes and calling me a right tosser for jumping on the bandwagon, let's have a look at this, my pedigree chums. Just because everyone and their nan is singing praises and slapping Baldur's Gate 3 with mainstream awards, it doesn't mean it's overrated. In fact, it's an absolute belter of an experience. Baldur's Gate 3 for me was the saviour of 2023 gaming. Indie titles put up a proper fight, facing off against expensive $70 AAA tripe like Jedi Survivor, The Last of Us, Redfall, Lord of the Rings, Gollum, you name it. And so what does Baldur's Gate 3 give us? It gave us a game with 0 microtransactions, promising a meaty 100 plus hours of gameplay. A story so rich, detailed and meaningful that you'd think Shakespeare himself wrote it all. And they only put it up for $50. Baldur's Gate 3 reminded us as to why we all fell in love with gaming in the first place, and it showed how developers should treat gamers and prove how their hard work should make them earn your money. Now there's a thought, people. Now there's so much brilliance here to unpack in this segment, so feel free to check out the full review linked in the description, where you can find all reviews of today's games that are mentioned. But mark my words, Baldur's Gate 3 isn't just the game of the year for 2023. There's a fair argument to say it's the best game to launch in the past decade. It's set to go down in gaming history like the legendary twat at your local boozer who gets drunk on New Year's Eve and falls off the table. So cheers to Baldur's Gate 3, the king of 2023. And there you have it, my Padawans. Massive thanks to each and every one of you for making this channel a rip-roaring success in 2023. We're averaging around 300 new subscribers a month, and I'm homing my editing skills like a Jedi refining his lightsaber. And the big goal for 2024 is to somehow double our subs and hit that sweet 10,000 mark. But let me tell you, the best part of this journey is you lovely people. The kind words, the lively debates, the fantastic banter, and the incredible support that you've showered upon me. I couldn't have asked for more, and come New Year's Eve, I'll be raising a glass or 3 to all of you for making this such a cracking and enjoyable ride. Until next time, love to you all. Reggie out.